him.
I want to watch the news.
Are you making headway at least?
This is the news.
Schmack-a-ma-gob, it's time for the only news that matters. And Nikki Sixx recently addressed questions about Mötley Crüe's future touring plans. He suggested the band's extensive road schedule may be coming to an end. The bassist shares his thoughts in a response to fans on X, formerly Twitter. A fan asked, "Do you enjoy being off the road more now?" Sixx provided insight into his own current perspective on touring versus live performances. He says, "Love playing live to a tape." No, he didn't say to a tape. I said that part. "Not a fan of touring these days because of my family," he said. The musician elaborated on how his family life has influenced his touring preferences. He says, "Family is great. Love me not being on tour. Me too. Great summer and just a few shows in the fall." The comment suggests a shift in priorities for the longtime Mötley Crüe member. They indicate that while he still enjoys performing live to a tape, extended touring has become less appealing due to family commitments. This perspective aligns with the band's current approach to live performances. The group has moved away from extensive world tours in favor of a more focused engagement. Business Insider reports that Mötley Crüe's currently has a limited schedule with the fall residency in Las Vegas starting September 12th and ending October 3rd, 2025. The residency features a total of 10 shows at Dolby Live at Park MGM. This residency format allows the band to perform without the demanding logistics of constant travel and that traditional touring requirements. The band's currently touring philosophy represents a significant departure from their previous commitments. Wikipedia documented that Mötley Crüe previously conducted their final tour during 2014-2015. The tour was announced at the time as the band's last extended tour before the initial hiatus and eventual bullshit reunion. This tour was meant to be their farewell to a large-scale touring, though the bands later returned to performing because they lied, Vivid Seats confirmed that no international tour dates have been announced for this year. This future signals the band's more restrained approach to touring. This shift reflects not only Sixx's personal priorities, but also the band's evolution toward a more sustainable performance schedule. The Las Vegas residency model has become increasingly popular amongst veteran rock acts. It offers fans opportunity to see their favorite band without requiring the artist to maintain grueling tour schedules. For Mötley Crüe, this approach appears to strike a balance between continuing to perform and for their dedicated fan base while respecting the personal commitments that have become more important to the band members like Nikki Sixx. Because Nikki Sixx is now like, you know what, man, we ain't bringing in the money like we were when we came back with Def Leppard, Remember Nikki Sixx was on the press begging them to do a tour with Guns N' Roses? It would be cool. Mötley Crüe and Guns N' Roses out there. You think Guns N' Roses, Axl Rose, I bet he still holds a grudge. I bet he still thinks Vince is a punk and wouldn't want nothing to do with them. But who knows? But I know that it didn't happen. And since it didn't happen, Who are they going to tour with? You know? Fucking Def Leppard again? What other band's big enough to fill stadiums? Journey? Is there going to be a Journey Mötley Crüe tour? I don't think so. I really don't think so. And nobody else, at least nobody else that would want Mötley Crüe to play with them at a stadium. It's over, Johnny. It's over. You know? And, they deserve it. They're horrible. They came back and everybody hated it. Everybody was complaining about Vince Neil at first. Then everybody started complaining about the tapes that they're playing to. And then everybody started, it just diminished little by little. Then Mick Mars was fired and he goes to the press telling people that they're playing the tapes. That hurt it a lot. It just kept hurting it more and more. And plus they weren't playing no stadiums no more. Now they were playing they played the Hard Rock down here, which is a smaller venue, but very expensive tickets that I didn't pay for because I didn't go see them. The last time I saw Mötley Crüe was their farewell tour to me back in 2015 where Alice Cooper was better. But either way, it was a great stage show. I've never seen not even Kiss have that much fire. That was insane. I've never seen Rammstein. Maybe Rammstein's more, but that was insanely hot. Those flames, and I wasn't even close to the stage. I was on the side, maybe 20 rows back, and I felt those flames. It was pretty amazing, the spectacle they gave. I didn't care too much for the roller coaster, drum solo. I just, he does little techno shit. I don't care. I really don't care. I know Tommy Lee's an awesome drummer. I saw him do real drum solos. On the Theater of Pain tour and Shout the Devil tour, he did real drum solos with no little samples thrown in or shit. It was raw kick ass, Here he's just, not for me. It was for a farewell show for Mötley Crüe. I will have to say it was kind of disappointing. The band itself. Mick Mars did the most boring guitar solo I think I've ever witnessed in my life. It was horrible. It was just, God, stop already. This is going nowhere fast. And it wasn't that great to say goodbye that way as far as the performance goes. Vince was terrible. I don't think I ever seen Vince worse. Because after all, after this show, I never went to go see Vince solo or Mötley Crüe ever again. But that, to me, was the worst of the worst I ever heard Vince sound, It sucked. And then it just continues to suck. I've seen the videos. Vince still ain't trying. And then recently they put up a solo show he did. It was like, God damn, man. But whatever, more power to him. A lot of people want to see it. A lot of people want to relive the old days. And hey, I can't remember where I saw it, but it was an insane amount of money that Vince Neil gets for solo shows. It was something like 40 grand, something like that. I'm not lying. It was definitely over 10 grand to do one solo show where he goes out there and huffs and puffs for 45 minutes to an hour. Well, the band, I'm sure there's a part of the show, Vince must leave the stage and the band takes over so Vince can catch his breath. I'm sure it has some of it, but whatever, man. He's making that much money to do that kind of performance. More power to Vince, man, but I ain't paying for it, and neither is anybody else. The stadium shows have dwindled, they filled stadiums with Def Leppard. Now they can't fill stadiums by themselves or with any other band. It's over, Johnny. This time I think they're forced. They're going to be forced to stop touring. He's hinting at it, but I could just see it's not lucrative. There's no money to be made. Why do you think Megadeth is doing a farewell tour? It's because of money. It's definitely because of money, because if Megadeth releases a new album and goes out on tour, they'll be opening for people like they have been for Five Finger Death Punch. And I saw them like a year or so ago open for the Misfits. You know? They got to play the farewell tour to get asses in seats. And Mötley Crüe cannot pull, hey, look, this is really the farewell tour. Even though it probably is gonna be, you know? And Mick Mars, you know, he's not there no more. I mean, Mick, you know, they always said, even in the early days in the 80s, they would always say, one member's out of the band breaks up. They were always saying that in the 80s. Well, Vince left, they went on. Tommy left, they went on. Mick's fired, and they're still going on. Nikki Sixx is the only one that hasn't left Mötley Crüe. The only one. But anyway, and Mick, you know, everybody, Team Mick. Man, fuck Mick, man. He came back with Mötley Crüe. I'm sorry, that's how I feel, man. And the solo album sucked balls, I thought. That modern crap. Who fucking, what young people today will want to check out a Mick Mars solo album? Because, believe me, I think younger people would like that garbage he was releasing. It was fucking terrible. But whatever, he's just as guilty as the other three. I love Mick, though. He's cool. I think he got messed over. And I don't think it's cool that Mötley Crüe is now taking money away from Mick. The money that they tricked their fans, you know, that they were leaving. Now they come back and they got that reunion money from their fans that don't care that they lied. And they're taking that money away from Mick. No, Mick deserves as much of that blood cheating money from your fans and the rest of you do. That's how I feel. How do you feel? Leave it in the comments below. I'd love to know. And please subscribe to my channel if you haven't. Ring that little notification bell and like the video. It's good for the YouTube algorithms. So stay frosty. Listen to Shout at the Devil and smack 'em a gob.
Farewell and adieu to you fair Spanish ladies. Farewell and adieu, you ladies of Spain. For we've received orders for to sail back to Boston. And so never more shall we see you again.